Hey guys, look, I hear you. I know what you're saying. Paul, you're already reading everything under the sun and constantly adding new segments to the channel. Surely you can't be doing movie reviews too. First off, don't call me Shirley. Second off, this is kind of just a goofy little aside I'm doing, just something for fun. I used to talk about what I watched in like the good, the bad, and the books and weekly reviews. Just had kind of taking this out of there and putting it into its own spot so it's easier to skip if you're not interested, so you don't have to hear me ramble when all you want to hear is books. And if you do want to see it, that's cool. And the point of this is I'm going to do odd stuff that's hard to find, or backlog on streaming channels is what I'm using. So I'm going to do reviews and kind of check out stuff that's completely off the wall, B movies or very good old black and white classic movies that aren't well known, sci-fi movies, weird stuff, just to kind of have a little fun and do like 5-10 minute reviews. It's not going to be a real big deal. It's just going to be an occasional thing. I thought I'd try and throw this out there just for fun, and that way I can take stuff out of other places and kind of compartmentalize it so people who don't want to watch certain things, or people who do want to watch certain things, can choose accordingly. So I thought I'd start simple and do something book related, and I found an Unsold pilot for a Nero Wolfe TV show, and Nero Wolfe is a book series written by Rex Stout, so it kind of relates, and I thought I'd kind of jump off there. And I know about Nero Wolfe. I've never read him. I know some of the basics, and I've heard about him. So I'm coming at it from a novice who hasn't read the books, so it might be an interesting perspective. So this single episode pilot starred Kurt Kasznar as Nero Wolfe and a very young William Shatner as Archie, which kind of caught my attention. I don't have feelings for William Shatner in any direction. I just thought it was amusing. And so basically, this is just a 26-minute TV show, single one-off. Like I said, it was a pilot that didn't get sold. All I have for a frame of reference is this one episode, and I thought it'd be a good place to start, an easy place to start. Like I said, it takes place in 1959, and you start at basically a rocket launch facility as they're making a 7th attempt to get to the moon, and you have a bunch of scientists, none of which look like scientists, but in any case, sitting at a table, counting down to the launch, and as it hits 0, one of them dies. Out of nowhere. No reason, no explanation, just dies. So then we cut to Archie and Nero, who are doing their morning routine. Nero's in bed eating, he's actually catching a cold, which makes him even more miserable. And Archie's reading him the newspaper and tells him also that they're broke and they need some money because they have bills due. So as Archie's reading through the newspaper, they set on this story about the scientist dying during the countdown for the launch, and Nero decides he's going to choose that as a case. That's a murder, he knows it, and he wants Archie to go investigate. Archie goes and does the legwork, gets some information, and then gathers everybody back at Nero's office for the denouement of the reveal, where the great detective tells everybody who did it and why and how, and we get the big reveal of what actually happened. And so, going through it, I want to say Kurt Kasznar as Nero Wolfe. There are times that I couldn't stand him, and other times I really liked him. So I wasn't sure where. I didn't get a lot. It's only a 26-minute episode, but I was torn because other time, it went back and forth my feelings on him. But I gotta say, William Shatner as Archie was absolutely charming and really cool. I think he would have been a real star of this show if it had ever gone forward and the pilot sold, because he came off really well and a lot of fun. And like I said, I'm not a Shatner fan. I'm not a Shatner hater. I just know his as a legend. So, because of course we all know him as Captain Kirk, right? And this was definitely a different, look for him. Um, I think he would have done a really good job as Archie. Like I said, I don't know the character from the book, so I'm kind of just speaking without experience. But I did know that I enjoyed his, acting there. And it was definitely very different from Captain Kirk. He had none of that weird speech patterns, and it was a completely different person that I was seeing. So that was very cool. The rest of the cast was perfectly fine. Like I said, the scientists at the beginning certainly didn't look like scientists, and the launch room certainly didn't look like a launch room. It looked like a closet that they had shoved equipment into. But that's okay. We were only there for a minute, and I thought the reveal during the denouement, the giant who did it ending, and how it was done was really ridiculous and silly, and I don't think it's something you could ever get away with saying was how it was done now versus 1959. It was. I had questions, but you kind of roll with it. Overall, though, it was kind of fun. I actually enjoyed my time in it, and if this was a series, I probably would have went and watched more episodes. I can't, like I said, I can't judge it against the books, and I'd love if you know these books, go watch this episode. Now you can find it for free on YouTube. It is just unaired, unsold Nero Wolfe starring Kurt Kasznar and William Shatner. So it should be easy to find if you search for it. If you're a Nero Wolfe person, if you're a person who's read Nero Wolfe, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it compared to the books. I thought it was pretty fun. I was a little bit surprised because at first I disliked the Nero Wolfe character, but he kind of, like I said, went back and forth. Sometimes I hated him, sometimes I liked him. It was kind of a weird thing. But yeah, so if if you're a fan, if you're a Nero Wolfe reader, if you're a Rex Stout reader, come back and let me know, especially if you've seen some of the other shows, because Nero Wolfe's been done a bunch of times. I know Kurt Kasznar does not look the part that's described in the books, because I've heard him described, and he's probably a little on the smaller side. They tried to make him big, oversized clothes and stuff, and keeping him in bed and not having him move around a lot. So I'm aware of that. But I'd love to hear, compared to the books and compared to other shows, how this show would come off to somebody who's a fan or an experienced reader. Anyway, like I said, this is just something goofy and just for fun. I'm going to just do it at a lark when I think about it, when I watch something. Most of the stuff will be like bad B movies or old sci-fi movies or something, and it'll probably be a few minutes longer than this overall, for at least for the description. But it's simple enough. Like I said, just have to go into streaming services, into their back catalog, and find something random and watch it, and then come back here and do a review and have some fun with it. Won't change my channel. It won't do anything. It's just a little extra project that I was having fun with and wanted to give it a shot and give it a try. See if anybody cared. If nobody cares, that's all right. It's still worth trying. So, anyway, thanks for showing up. I will see you again very soon. Later.